afternoon, everybody. This is Grant Sparks and Nicole Ray Ray of Spark Sites and HotMod and HotSpark, or whatever you think of us. Probably Spark Sites right now, or a Spark team. And today we're covering how to launch your influencer program in 30 days. And this is our webinar, our lunch and learn to all of the lovelies. This is how we give value to you, our clients, the Spark citizens, but also those who are like, I just need help and I'm not yet a Spark client. That's fine too. We want to make sure that you get radical value. So Nicole, before we dive in, Nicole, what can everyone expect from us on launching your influencer program? Give us a quick overview.
Okay, absolutely. So whether you're a business owner, like a local business owner, whether you're a product-based company, or you're a service-based company, or you're a travel board or destination management organization, no matter what your business is, you can implement your own influencer program to start working with local influencers or influencers nationwide. So we're just really going to roll through.
Keep going. Keep going.
It's really loud.
There's nothing I can do.
It's scratching.
There's nothing I can do.
You could turn it off.
No, I just tried to turn it off.
Okay. We got to have some technical difficulties, just the way it rolls.
Let's try that. Go for it. Go for it. Come on.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and put our presentation up. And we're going to walk you through how to set up your own in-house influencer program in 30 days. Okay. I was echoing a little bit there. All right. Awesome. So we offer these live trainings, like Grant was saying, to our community, but honestly, with how much we get contacted about this exact question, and we knew that it would add value to anybody who was even thinking about working with influencers. So let me go ahead and get us. All right. So really identifying like your first question, like what stops you from working with influencers? We know that it's usually one of four things that you're hung up on. It's, finding the right talent, because there's a ton of influencers out there, but which one's actually going to work most for your brand and business? So finding the right talent is something that a lot of companies get hung up on. Another part is negotiating rates. They're not quite sure what to pay an influencer. A lot of times there's just this stigma that's going to be an astronomical fee, and they're not going to be able to afford it anyway. So they just end up not moving forward and working with an influencer. There's possibly you've set up some kind of influencer program, but you don't really have a way to automate it. So it seems kind of too much. And so we'll talk a little bit about how some of these things can be more streamlined. And then a lot of businesses don't really have anybody dedicated to reaching out to influencers. It kind of ends up being something that the social media manager it's another hat that they end up having to wear. And a lot of times they don't have the training or the skill set in order to even start taking that on. And so, these are some of the challenges that we've seen. There's a ton more, but the business owners really get hung up on, and we'll try to, overcome some of that today. I keep thinking that you are in control of it, but it's me. Okay.
It's you.
I know. All right. How to find influencers who actually convert. Okay. Now, converting is meaning that they're getting their audience to take some action that shows some results. Okay. So we're going to look at key metrics. When you're going to look for an influencer that can convert for you, you're looking at things that you can see on their accounts, which is engagement rates, how many people are saving their posts, how many views they're getting. These are different metrics that you can see for yourself when you get on Instagram or TikTok. So it kind of helps you look and see before you decide anything. Are they currently posting every day? Influencers who are really active on social media are usually posting every single day or showing up in stories every day. And so that's one of the things that you can look for when you're starting to do the outreach, and starting to kind of figure out who you want to work with. Do the influencers have high quality content? Like, is their lighting nice and bright? Are they using transitions or storytelling in their post? Is it just a meme, or are they actually talking to their audience? And there's a difference with that, and because a lot of times you want to have your brand tell the story about your brand, so you want to look for something like storytelling. Their account quality. Are they responding to comments and being engaging? Like, if you have a ton of followers and people are commenting on, and you see that people are commenting and trying to engage with them, but they don't comment back, that means that they're not as invested in the audience as some other influencers would be. And so that's something to look for as well. And then, are they cross-posting to multiple platforms? You want an influencer who's posting to Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, maybe even Pinterest, LinkedIn. Where are they? And are they maximizing their reach when it comes to their post? And last but not least is the influencer and an authority in their defined niche. All that really means is that if you have a business selling supplements, does this influencer, have a say in are they in health and nutrition, and do people go to them for advice about supplements? You would want to work with somebody like that, not a fashion influencer, right? So figuring out and making sure that influencer actually knows what they're talking about in regards to your specific niche or industry is super important. Grant, do you have anything to add to that?
About finding influencers. No, what we found is some of this stuff seems obvious, right? Like, why should we even have to say this? You'd be shocked how many small business owners just look at maybe follower count, and follower count has evolved quite a bit. Follower count has shifted where, especially because of TikTok and the interest graph. On TikTok, you might not have a follower or someone in your social graph. They're not in your network. They don't follow you. You don't follow them. But you post about your favorite pickleball outfit, and a bunch of pickleballers come around. Now, maybe those pickleballers will follow you. Maybe they won't. But they'll comment or they'll share, but they won't follow. So follows, I just wanted to be clear on this for anyone building out or looking for an influencer for your small business. Sometimes follower count isn't there. Does it help? Certainly. We have a pest client, and we got that pest client a local influencer. She's a macro influencer. She's murdering it, right? So she does have the follows. And in terms of the KPIs for that campaign, that was what we wanted, because the biggest win was expanding his audience for retargeting in the future. That was like a must, right? So follows can be relevant to a campaign, but it's not the highest metric as you're looking for a good influencer. So that was just my 2 cents there.
No, it's so true. Follower count's important, but there's so many other metrics that really show, the depth of the talent of the influencer. And so that's why we listed the other ones. And there's just a lot more things going on, right? You could save posts, you could forward them. Now with Instagram, you can repost to your Instagram account, and it just shows in a completely separate section of your account. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So all of that matters. All right, we'll go on to the next. All right. So when you're thinking about reaching out to influencer, this is another one that people get hung up on. Like, what do I even say? I don't really know how to approach them. Honestly, you're going back to relationship building, right? You're reaching out to them and letting them know, hey, I own a business. I really love your content. I really would love to partner. The keyword is partner. Partner with you to, share our services, share our products. And so something as simple as an excited, clear, DM or email can go a really long way. But we 100% suggest that you email them and DM them You guys know with DMs, a lot of times if you're a new account, they may never see this DM. It could be weeks. So to speed up that process, send them an email and let them know that you're interested in partnering with them. And if you can, jump on a Google Meet or Zoom call with them and meet them face to face. And that can go a really long way. You can get a feel for them, they can get a feel for you. And then you can kind of cut through a lot of that back and forth and speed up the process. We urge you though, and we're going to cover this too, you got to know what you want to promote before you start reaching out to the influencers, because they're not going to know your business necessarily. They're not going to know what you need to promote. Have all of that set up before you start reaching out to them. You know, what if you have a new product rolling out? It's the holidays, so maybe you have like a promotion that you're pushing. These are very good things to align with an influencer and for marketing. And so know all of that before you start reaching out to them. But for the most part, DM and emailing is just a friendly, you know, icebreaker to start the conversation about partnering together. And it's like any other email or DM that's sent. You let them know up front what you're looking for, and then, you know, try to get them on a phone call or a virtual call and get to know each other. Okay. Beginning budgets for influencers. We've included this because we strongly suggest that you set up a budget that expands past gifted. Okay, because most influencers, especially if you're going to ask them for the images or the videos or the assets that they put together for the campaign, that comes with time and labor. And so think of them like not like a 1099, they do become a 1099 employee. So you want to make sure that you have set aside a budget in addition to any other products or services that you're going to be offering to them for free. And so these are just loose numbers to give you an idea, to know that it's not usually extremely expensive. It just depends on, you know, the level of the influencers. And this can vary, but this is a minimum starting point at least in order to, and so have that number, be thinking about that number before you even get into conversation with them, because that's where negotiations start to come into play, and you'll want to know what you can afford and then what to expect. They may say their rate is a lot more than this, and then you guys can negotiate and kind of get to a middle ground on deliverables and rates. But definitely thinking about a monetary compensation or budget. Take part of your marketing budget that maybe you would be spending on Facebook ads that we don't necessarily know if they work, and use that for your influencer marketing for the end of the year or quarter one. But most of the time you can pull from something in order to hire an influencer. Do you have anything to add to that?
Just that some of you might think, actually, the more we've done this presentation and talked to multiple people about budgets, they fall into two camps. They're appalled at the thought of paying a nano influencer $250 when they might have less than 10,000 followers. Remember what we said about followers. It's not just followers. This is a guideline for followers. But I tell you, if a nano influencer had 1,000 follows, it's like, I shouldn't pay them anything. But what if their engagement was over 9%? And so this is just a rule of thumb. So these two camps are people that are appalled at the thought. Well, if you've ever met a macro or mega influencer, you know $1,000 is low compared to what they ask for. And that's why we say 1,000 plus, 250 plus, because this is not necessarily for the influencer. This is for the business owner to get their head around this, that you always need to be thinking about financial compensation, because the other group, the one group thinks this is way too much to give an influencer as opposed to an ad spend, but another group thinks this is way too cheap. And so there's really no in between when it comes to business owners. The business owners who think this is way too cheap, they're second guessing if they're getting anything. So if I have a macro mega influencer and I'm coming in at $1,000, am I going to get anything? And that's the one side of the spectrum. I only point that out because we want our business owners we want our business owners to seriously consider influencer work, even if it's not with us. We want you to seriously consider it, because what you don't see with these numbers, and we actually took this slide out of this presentation, and we've shown it in other presentations, the click-through rate on influencer content is 4.7%. but the average click-through rate from your paid ads is like less than 2, 2.1, depending on your campaign. And so if you are spending $100 to $200 on your Facebook ads a month, or $1,000 or more on your Facebook ads a month, just know you're getting on average 2% click-through rate. Whereas with a creator, you're getting, what we're looking at is a 4.9% click-through rate, and you're curating the audience. So we put this up here to normalize paying your influencers. Do not think about this in trade deals. Trade deals comes in the amount of deliverables you're going to give them. So if you have a macro and mega influencer and they have hundreds of thousands of 500,000 followers or so, or a mid-tier influencer, and you have a service, you are coming to the table with your service or your product. And I guess you're going to cover this in a second. I kind of stole the thunder on this. Actually, let me time out. Let me let you cover that, because that's important to know. But this baseline is important because aside from all the other goodies that Nicole's about to share with you that they're going to give you, you need to come to the table with cash. Because if you've noticed lately, if you're a restaurant or if you're a service, you're probably getting hit up all the time by jokers who are like, hey, I've got 12,000 followers, which honestly, you could buy 12,000 followers if you wanted to. And I want you to give me a haircut for free, or I want you to give me a tour for free, or a night stay for free. And you're like, oh, I don't know, is this worth anything? And they're just trying to get free stuff. And it's kind of joker business. So we want to make it a more serious engagement, because when there's a dollar compensation, you can then ask for more things. But we just met a pizzeria, a local pizzeria. We were in line, and the GM came up to us. They know us. They started asking about this, and they're like, I get calls all the time. And I'm like, I guess you can come in for pizza. But they said, I keep getting burned because I don't know what to ask. Well, that's because there was no monetary exchange and they didn't really know what to ask. So I'll let you kind of share with what people get in those goodies, but that's the backdrop of why we give you a budget to begin thinking with. Here you go, Nicole.
I love that you said that, because we do want to normalize monetary compensation, because it is labor and there are deliverables expected, right? So, let's not go. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's clear up what do I offer influencers even with a small budget? Because we do understand we're small business owners. You're a small business owner. Can you even work with influencers? What can I give them? So we're going to kind of lay it out, and looking for product and service-based brands. This is like the minimum of what you, like a package deal, what you should be working or giving an influencer, even if you have a small budget. So one, obviously the product. If you have supplements, you want to ship them those supplements so they can try them. Because if they're an influencer who treats their platforms like a business, they're going to actually want to like the product. So you got to give them some time to try it and like it, right? And then get on board with it. You should be offering any influencer you work with an affiliate program. A couple reasons. One, you can track if there was clicks and that if there's actual engagement, or if the campaign's working. So you have some metrics. But most influencers want to offer their audience some kind of discount to try your product. So it works twofold in that regard. You set up the affiliate program, you have a way to track, the results from the influencer, but also a gift for their audience. And hopefully they are, they want to buy because they got that discount, and encourages more of those checkouts. If it's a service, same thing. If say you're a business coach and you want to do coaching, you need to set up whatever materials that you have and then set up a coaching. What are some other services? We had pest control. So the pest control company went out and offered a free service to the influencer, the local influencer. And so arranging those things, but having some monetary compensation, like we said, working on some kind of 3-month commitment, because I tell you guys, one post in Ghost doesn't work. Like you need, the audience needs to see that the influencer is invested in your brand. And the best way for that to happen is consistency and multiple views and touch points. So you really would benefit largely from having a 3-month commitment where they post in October, they post in November, they post in December. And in between that, they're doing stories and sharing your link. And then they know, the audience trusts that this is a product that they really love, or a service that they really love. We highly encourage monthly check-ins with the influencer. They're going to be getting feedback and almost working as a customer service person, because people are going to be asking them about the product or service. They're going to get a lot of questions. And then Yeah. And then, so you want to make sure that you touch base with them and learn about what people are asking for, because that's data for you to improve your business. And then a feedback survey. You actually want to know, what the influencer learned. So on top of those monthly check-ins, send them a survey that asks them, like, how did you like the product? If you could change one thing, what would it be? What were the most frequently asked questions from your audience? And, how can we improve, or anything that can help your business, because this is a unique situation where you get live feedback and data. And then Post and Ghost does a worksheet. Okay, so Grant was making some comments over here. Travel-based brands. We know that influencers work with travel, tourism boards, travel companies. What do we offer them? Off the bat, a hosted stay at the resort or the locations. Any amenity cost covered. Sometimes you go to a hotel and they want to charge you to rent a chair by the pool. It's true. Some of this, like these little costs that come up, we don't want the influencer having to worry or cover it. Per diem or food vouchers. While they're there, they should be enjoying the food, but that should not come out of their pocket. So make sure that you're including that as well. Any excursions that you want them to go on to showcase all the local attractions. So like we did this with Legoland. If we're sending an influencer to Legoland, then we cover the ticket costs, right? Definitely an affiliate program with promo codes, monetary compensation, and that feedback survey. This is your chance. Get the feedback from the influencer. Their boots on the ground. They can tell you how their experience was at the resort, from the people they had to deal with. I mean, all of it is gold for any, agency, client, business that's working with an influencer. Grant, do you have anything to add to that?
Only that this sounds like a lot. And travel-based brands, you're probably going to be a bit higher than that budget we talked about already. Because hosted stays at hotels or resorts. So for those who are in products and services, this doesn't apply to you. Nicole has done a ton of work with travel boards, tourism boards, or just travel companies in general. And they are a very unique situation when it comes to creators. Often the creator's reach, who is a successful, even small, but successful travel creator, they have a much further reach and much higher engagements than the average, say, for example, average mom blogger. And so the rates are going to be a little higher. And so as you see this budget for travel-based, yes, if that doesn't apply to you, don't apply it to yourself. If you are a pest control company, a lawn company, just focus on product or service. Like Nicole said, with our service company, the pest control company, they did give an inspection and even it was a 2-month follow-up service. And though it's like when they started calculating it, it probably came to a couple $100 plus some cash compensation. But the truth is that their drivers are already out on the road. They just made sure that it was part of the route one day. It didn't, the cost of that wasn't too high of a cost to the business. The price, yeah, it feels like, well, normally I charge X, Y, and Z for this service. And it's like, well, but you're paying for marketing with the cost of something. So there are two very different circumstances, but this actually isn't a lot. Now, the 3-month commitment, you still want to look at the baseline budget that we presented before. And if you want that chart somewhere, let us know. We'll get you that chart. But the idea of the 3-month commitment is that you really need to give yourself the most amount of chances for people to see that content. So if you can engage that creator for 3 months, go for it. So I just wanted to re-emphasize that point. All right.
Yes. Okay. I keep running past it. All right, we got this really cool infograph here, and it's to showcase, how to actually build a system to onboard an influencer and what that means that you need to do, and like the flow of how to work it through your system. And so number one, you guys, define your campaign. I mentioned this earlier. Determine your budget. Build a creator brief. A creator brief is something that shares your mission of your company, the information about the promotion or the sale or the campaign, that you want the influencer to promote. They have to be informed. They have to get, that information so that they can share, to their audience and sound like they know what they're talking about, right? But also buy into this campaign and get behind it. so that creator brief encompasses all that. It also tells them what the deliverables expected are, so that they know upfront what they're going to be having to give you. And so you get all that in that creator brief. You're going to have different ways that you're going to get influencers to engage with you in order to get them to onboard and become a partner. And that is getting an email blast out to your email list, sending out social media posts. There's different ways to do that, and we'll kind of go through that. You need to have a tracker. This is a spreadsheet where you track everybody you've reached out to, and then whether or not they're going to be with you. But if you don't track this, you're gonna lose you're not gonna know who to follow up with. It's just gonna all become a big mix, and you're gonna go, who did I talk to? So track this stuff, organize it up front, make sure you have your contracts in place, and then make sure you have your cloud-based folder set up. So if you use Google Drive, if you use Dropbox, no matter what that is, make sure you have a Dropbox set up, because the goal is to get assets, images, and videos from the influencer, and you want to have a place for them to put that. All right, we talked about direct asking, email blasts, and also running ads or post, attracting influencers to work with your business or brand. Any of those ways are going to go to an application process. No matter if you reach out to them or they reach out to you, you need them to fill out a form that gives you their demographic information and any other pertinent information, like all of their handles, what their address is. All of that information needs to be either on a landing page where they can quickly fill it out, or some kind of form. So you need to have that set up so you can send the link quickly, collect their information, and start the process. We call it an application because, it sounds cooler to apply for a campaign than just fill out this form. And then we can move into negotiations, where we're kind of going back and forth with, okay, are the deliverables make sense for the compensation that you're offering them? And so they may have something to say about that. And so negotiations will take place. But once you guys decide on what that is, you've got to get a contract, because it, makes sure that they have a timeline and they know what's happening, but it protects you and them. Like, no matter what, you have things that you need to fulfill as the business, and they have things that they need to fulfill as the contractor talent. And then we have a campaign kickoff. We pick a date, and the influencer has everything they could possibly need to start the campaign. And that usually starts with their very first post or reel. And that's what we call our kickoff. So kind of go through these steps. You should be able to guarantee a successful partnership and campaign, because everybody knows what's going on, right? Which clears up what happened at this pizza place Grant was talking about, or what has happened when we talk to people. It's, I did work with an influencer this one time, and I'm like, oh, well, how did that, what happened? They're like, well, they reached out to me, they came in one day, and then they posted a couple weeks later, and I didn't really see anything from that. And it kind of makes me giggle, because it's like, well, what did you expect to see? Because there was no real control over the process. You didn't know when they were going to post. You didn't know what they were going to post. And so that's not a real influencer campaign, you guys. Just a random one-off person decides to come into your place of business or take a product. That doesn't count. When you control the elements in the process, then you will have a successful campaign. And so when you set these things up, it should be gold. What do you think?
What do I think? I think the paradigm shift here that's different than what people are used to is, even if you are a small business, you need a page on your website that is a funnel page. And by funnel, we just mean they can submit information to you. And if you need help with this, of course, we want to serve you in that. But if you have a web person already, have them build you a page for your creator program or your partnership program or your influencer program page. Embed a Google form or put in whatever form service you have that asks at least some basic information, because I'm telling you, the creator wave, the influencer wave is going to wash over you, and there's a bunch of jokers. You can compare this to the fact that if you're a business owner and you've ever owned a website, how many emails or phone calls do you get that someone says, hey, your SEO stinks? And it's just this spam that you get all the time, daily. Netza says, love this info. Good afternoon, Netza. Thank you for stopping by. And so when you get the spam of SEO, it's like, is this legit or not? You need a way to find out if it's legit. It's the same with creators. Everyone and their cousin believes that they are an influencer or a cousin, or I'm sorry, an influencer or a creator. And you need to give them an application, a place, and you look more legit. If you are a local laundry company or a local landscaping company, and in the footer, someone happens to see creator program or influencer program or partnership program, they're going to go, what is this? And you might be able to drum up business or partnership in ways you never thought you could. But even if you don't, you look that much more serious and that much more organized. It's a virtue signal of sorts that you're relevant as a company and you understand modern marketing. So that's my 2 cents about having an application. Go ahead.
Modern marketing. It's so true. It's so true. This is the modern marketing. Okay. This was kind of an add-on, and so that you understand what a typical negotiation is going to look like with an influencer. You may send a cold pitch email or a DM. The hope is that they respond, and then you talk to them and you send them the creator brief, and you're like, hey, this is the information about, the things we want to promote, the things we want to do. These are the dates that we would want to do all this by, right? And so they're going to take that information. The influencer is going to take that information and go, great, I would love to work with you. Here are my rates for this type of promotion, because it's going to take me this much time or this much, work in order to give you the deliverables that you need, right? So there's that rate negotiation part. And then it all goes down to that signed contracts, because we're going to keep emphasizing this. This is like any other business transaction. You need a contract in place, not because we hope anything happens. It really is just to clarify the timeline, the deliverables, and the promise from the client, you, the business owner. And then if they decide, okay, this isn't for me, then obviously the negotiation ends. But that's the usual life cycle of it. It's maybe 3 emails at most. If you have your stuff together as a business owner, honestly, it shouldn't take more than 3 or 4 emails to close the deal or to create that partnership. I know Grant's itching over here.
Sorry. No, I'm not itching. I just want to make sure we said it before we jumped. In this diagram, the influencer creators on the left and the business, the brand is on the right. And more often than not, you'll get a cold pitch email. And that's what the influencer is doing on the left. They see something that you're doing and they want to get some freebie or something. Now, if they're not reaching out to you and you're launching your program from cold start and this is your first time, you're going to start in that second box, response, email, or call, or organic content or whatever that is. Now, the one thing I really wanted to call out is most of this is a vibe check, because it's relatively easy to find creators whose demographic matches what you do. It's relatively easy to find that they have the engagements you want, that they have the look and feel you want. But what you're checking with is, does this person amplify my brand? And the thing I think Spark desperately needs to do, Nicole, is I think we need to do a webinar or a training or an IRL training to answer the question, what is brand? And how is that different from marketing? And in this context, brand, as it comes to you picking a creator, is, let's say, for example, you were a family ministry or a Christ-based landscaping company, and you came across a mom blogger who also had a spicy channel. That vibe check doesn't vibe. Or flip this the other way. Maybe you were an edgier brand. Maybe you are a DJ like Netflix or like Netza has been in the past. He's a DJ, or has been, if I'm not mistaken, or events manager. And maybe you have some spice to you, and the creator themselves is far more conservative than that. You want a vibe check, and it's not like judging anyone. It's just you want to make sure that this person matches. So not only do you want the key metrics to match, and of course you want the content to match, but you also want to vibe well. And there's enough creators out there that you can vibe well. And so when it comes to this chart, we do have these little indicators on here of like, do I like this person? And I don't want it to be mean, so I should probably reword that. Like, do we vibe? I should probably reword this thing. And if they don't, fine, never again. Why? Because there's plenty of creators. But if you do vibe and you get through the negotiations and the negotiations aren't going so well, please make sure you say, hey, can I reach out if we have a different campaign in the near future? Maybe at that point we might vibe. Because once you find a creator who really vibes, you guys go back to working together all the time. And the deal gets better and better and better. So this isn't just about a transaction. Because if you add that creator to your sphere and you have a decent campaign and they got money in their pocket and you expanded your audience and then you could retarget ads and reuse the content, it's a win-win and everyone feels real good. You've also added that person to your community themselves. They're now following you. They're now in your sphere and it starts to compound. So I just want to call out, yes, look at the boxes. Yes, know where you belong, but also make a note. This is about building relationships too. Boom.
100%. This really becomes an extension of your business. It's another marketing partner. And honestly, a lot of the time they're bringing so much knowledge about what's going on in the industry because they're in it, that it's, it's something that you just can't get your hands on necessarily. So when you think about working with an influencer, it's also learning a bunch about what's going on in the industry, what's trending, what's working. So, Okay, you guys, the whole point of the webinar was to launch your program in 30 days. So let's start week 1, build that campaign we talked about, define what metrics that you need to measure to make sure the campaign was good. Is it clicks to your website? Is it sales? What is your goal as a brand, business, organization that you really want the influencer to focus on? Make sure you have those metrics set up, and then define your ideal avatar. Like Grant was saying, if we work with nonprofits, some of them are faith-based. So when we started to look for community partners, influencers, we're looking for faith-based influencers. And so that's building out an ideal avatar, knowing the type of influencer you want to work with. So making sure that all of that's done week 1, shouldn't take much longer than that. Week 2, start your outreach. Hit it hard, hit the emails hard, hit the DMs hard, start really putting out posts. Hey, we're looking for influencers. You should definitely be doing that, or run an ad. There's a couple different ways, and we can even advise you further on that, but outreach needs to start happening. Follow-ups. Don't just send an email and then forget about it. That's why you have that tracker, so you can go back and make sure you follow up in a couple days. Maybe they missed your email. Maybe it went to spam. It's so important to follow up and to make sure that they actually saw your message. You don't want to miss out on an influencer just because an email went to spam. They could end up being like the perfect partner. And then start creating a short list. That list of like 50 people you reached out to, well, only 10 got back to you. So you have a short list, and then really dig in with that short list and start talking about the campaign and making sure you can move forward with them. By week 3, you should be getting into negotiations, deciding on that, that compensation, and then putting that information in that contract and getting them to digitally sign it. You sign it, they sign it. Google has e-signature capabilities now, so utilize that free tool. And then if you're products like a supplement company, make sure you ship those products out. Give it about a week because they got to get the product, open the product, and then use the product. So make sure that if it's a service or a product, that you have that scheduled to get to the influencer. And then by week 4, you should have that campaign kickoff date ready to go. You make sure that you touch base with your influencer again. We want to make sure that they're feeling like they have everything they need to speak for your brand and to talk about the product or service. And then once they post, monitor the content. Go look at the post, check out the engagement, and just really make comments yourself, because there's something really great. And maybe you've seen this too, Grant, is like an influencer works with the brand, and then the brand posts under the influencer and shares more or thanks them for their partnership. You can totally do that, and it just shows more authenticity around that relationship. So monitor the content and engage with the content as the brand. And so if you can do this each week, you should be able to launch your very own program internally that reaps rewards and successes of partnerships and hopefully sales and clicks.
What do you mean? What do I got? You want me to add to this? This is like a pretty
always.
I don't know if this sounds like a lot for people. I don't know if anyone has tried this before. So, you know, I might just leave with a question. Has anyone tried to formally try to launch an influencer creator program? This is the game plan. It's not overly complex. That just is what it is. And we can send you that slide so you kind of have that game plan. Put it on your calendar. Start with one creator. Make it formal so you know how the relationship goes. And then these are the tools you're going to need. Go ahead, Nicole.
Yes. Tools you can put into place. You got that outreach tracker. This is a spreadsheet. We have one. We've used one. These are my agency tools that I use personally to run my business, and they can be yours. They're very simple. It's just a matter of knowing where everything needs to get plugged in. So having an outreach tracker, whether you use Excel or spreadsheet, getting that done. Having those emails that you're going to send to the influencers or the DMs, have templates made. Don't rewrite this thing every single time you send it to an influencer. You do want to personalize it and add their name and, you know, actually add some of that in there. But for the most part, to make this a faster process, you can do that and make sure you have those templates ready. Get your contract templates good to go. So that way you're just plugging in the influencer's information and personalizing to the campaign negotiations that you guys worked out. And then make that creator brief. We have an awesome template that we give businesses and brands that allows them just to plug in and like basically it could be Canva or presentation and personalize it to their brand. And that way they know exactly how to put their information in and send it to the influencer so they know what, you know, to inform them about the campaign. And so those are most of the tools that you need. We did talk about the landing page. So influencers can apply to this campaign and you can start building a database of talent. Let's just talk about that, whether you put it in a tracker or, you know, you got to get that form going. So I think we need to add that for sure, because it does streamline and automate the process for you. And then here we go. This is how we wrap it up in the sense, what does this all mean for you? How do we help? We can obviously build out the process for you. We can come in and train your team and help them understand the process so they can take over, or we can just send you the tools. I mean, either way you go, it's really depending on how much, but we're so hands-on with our clients that honestly, when we build something for you, we usually try to consult you along the way. But either of these options, all of these options are available as we continue to share and kind of demystify the influencer program process and show you how easy it is to work with influencers. You just have to set up a couple things to make sure you get the most for your money and for your time. And it's long-term success by building a relationship with a local influencer or whoever that is, and continue to help you grow your business.
Yeah, and you know, we should probably add this slide back to this presentation, but if you're not getting it yet, you know, we merged companies because this actually ended up influencer work, creator work, ended up being the solution for small businesses. By that, I mean the average marketing solution, air quotes, for small businesses starts at $1,500 a month. And if you can afford it, you should, because it'll help you grow. But most small business owners can't make that happen. When Nicole started showing me the power of creator work as like a very tippy-toe beginning point of getting someone else, you're going to hire a video team to come out and record you. You're going to hire a social media manager to post for you. You're going to hire probably that social media manager to expand your audience and reach. You're going to hire a consultant to work through your messaging and work through how to pitch you and talk about you. And then you're going to hire somebody or one of those people or another consultant to do research about your demographics. Look, you can do all of that and still only get a 2.2% click-through rate on your ads. And then you're going to sit there and stare at the analytics on your ads and go, I don't know what any of this means. Or you spend the same dollars or less, hire a creator, And the creator will come out and make the content for you. The creator will ideate what those hooks are. The creator will help you expand your audience and reach. The creator will post and repost that content, and you'll get the raw video files and end up. There's so many wins from this regard that if you are a struggling small business owner or a medium-sized company ready to take things to the next level, you've got to get your toes in the water. So yes, reach out to us if you just want the tools. We can get those to you. If you want Nicole or I to come out and help train your team on how to start and fire this up, we'll bring the tools, but we'll help you implement them. Or if you want us to just build it for you, build the machine, negotiate the contracts, find the creators, because it is a little bit of a work. There is a little bit of work here to do. If you want us to, of course, we would love to do that for you. But as with everything, Nicole, we're trying to serve our small business owners with the tools and training to succeed, to get more leads, and to thrive in any environment. And that's what we do here at Spark. Thank you for stopping by. Check in on Wednesdays at noon. We're going to start adding additional webinars and training that's just available to you as our audience. As if you're not a client, you will be, and we know that, right? So we want to make sure that you're exposed to us. We want to make sure you know that what we bring to the table. So if you have questions or even want custom training, reach out to Nicole at Spark My Site, Grant at Spark My Site, or anybody at Spark My Site. And you'll get Amber or someone on the team. Let us know how we can be serving you. And with that, have a wonderful afternoon, Nicole.
Peace out.
Peace out, everybody.